This week on You, Me, and 23.
Living off-grid with a family our side, it's work.
We are in what's called man camps.
I work 72 hours straight without a break.
It was a mess. It looked like a construction zone.
And I said, 100 kilowatts. And he about gagged.
And Colby said, well, do you think you can turn this house into a home? And I thought, I don't know.
The parcel the house sits on is 100 acres, and then the driveway is another 24 acres, stretched out over 2 miles.
I don't even know how big that is, to be honest.
Keep your eyes closed.
Everybody hold your arms. My name is Colby. My wife and Autumn and I have 23 kids together. It's a blended family. I had 10, and my wife, Becky, died of cancer. Autumn had 5 and married me anyway. And together we've had 8 more, including a set of twins.
And a little boy with Down syndrome.
Yep, Malachi was born in June with Down syndrome. Currently we're sagebrush and field grass. We intend to put some crops in. Don't have enough water for that yet. We have 8 or 9 horses and a lot of chickens. We've had sheep, goats, cows. Currently we're down to horses and chickens. Part of what we're doing is we homesteaded this. It was a bare piece of dirt. There was a well that was drilled on it when we bought it.
Alrighty, you guys can see we got down to the pipe and we found our leak for certain. That's where it's coming from. Could be some threading on the pipe that's broken, could be a seal or a crack in the pipe itself, so we're gonna get down and get a closer look and get that fixed.
So you came out here and there was just dry land and a well.
There was a well and a generator setting next to the wellhead.
Was there any electricity?
No, the nearest power pole here to here is over 2 miles away.
Gotcha.
So there are no there's nothing available.
Okay.
So it was either build it ourselves or don't do it. I wanted to have enough power to do what I wanted, when I wanted, without fear of running out of electricity. And so I designed the solar system myself based on what I wanted. And then I got a bid from a local company to do an installation, and it came to 1.3 million. I didn't have 1.3 million, okay? I said, can I just walk around and look for a minute? And he says, sure. And so I walked around, I looked on the back of the solar panels, and sure enough, there's a manufacturer name there.
So you went to the source.
So I took a picture of that name, and I completed my day with that sales rep, and I went back, and the next morning I called the manufacturer of that, and I said, well, would you sell me your factory seconds? And he said, yeah, we can do that. How big of a system do you want to do? And I said, 100 kilowatts. And he about gagged. Now, that's not a big system for a municipality, but for an individual, it's a pretty good sized system. He called me back the next day, and he says, we've got facilities all the way across America, and between all of them together, we can meet your order. I said, great. So
Colby, you're a genius.
I got them for 10% of the going rate.
Wow.
So I bought an entire semi-load of panels. I have been building this because we're only about 40% done. I have been building it for 3.5 years.
We have 23 children and we live on 100 acres off-grid.
Perfect.
One more time, I stuttered.
No, you're good. I think it is a good thing.
So I have 2 aunts that were an inspiration for this. I have one that lived on 20 acres in California and one that lived on 100 acres in Canada. And I grew up in California next to the aunt that had the 20 acres. And just both of these women are just phenomenal people. They're so fun, just the most delightful, magical personalities that you just love to be around them. Such positive attitudes and hard workers, and just joyful souls. And so my aunt in California, when they first moved out there, they had no house, and she had 10 children, and they lived in hay bales.
Let's see. Wait, what do you mean by hay bales?
So they built these rooms out of hay bales and tarps, and that's what they stayed in. She also had a bus with some bunk beds, so that's what they were staying in. Oh, she talked about the laundry. She said, those big blue barrels that people store grains in and whatnot. They had some of those, and they would fill it with water, and they would put the clothes in there to wash it and stomp down on it. And I said, was it hard? Did you get grumpy or anything? And she said, no, it was an adventure. She said, in fact, even the neighborhood kids were like, can we come live with you? So it was just so fun. And I have all these memories of visiting her and going horseback riding, and it just seems like a wonderful way to live. Hello! Where's your coats? You took them off again. It's Canada, and they don't want to wear their coats. We just made it to Uncle Monty and Aunt Melody's house.
Listen, those are to look at. You don't climb all over and play with them.
Oh my goodness.
Are they real? Wow. Were they real? They are. What?
Wow. So then I had this other aunt in Canada who had 100 acres. The house they were building on 100 acres was in the county. So they were renting a house in town while they built their new house. And she said after a while it was kind of obnoxious to go back and forth because they would forget tools and whatnot. So she said to her husband, why don't we just live in tents while we're building? And he looked at her like, you would do that? And she's like, sure.
Are we talking like little camping tents?
I think they must have been a good size because she said they had like beds and furniture in there.
Okay.
So yeah, so it was summer. Otherwise, I don't think it would have been doable. But she also had 10 children living in tents on raw land while they built. And I asked her the same question. I said, did you get cranky? Or was it like, how was it? She said, no, it was so fun.
That's incredible.
So yeah, so they made me want to move to a small town.
So one aunt lived in tents. One aunt lived in hay bales. What are you living in while you build your dream house?
So we actually have it pretty good compared to the tents and the hay bales. We are in what's called man camps. So when I say that to people here, they think of just like a little trailer that like the sheep farmers are living in. And like that is not what this is. This is like a modular house on steroids. It has a commercial kitchen, commercial bathroom, 20 bedrooms when we first moved in. I've knocked out some walls since then to create a bigger living room and such. But it's basically 6 modular houses put together in one. And yeah, I'll have people ask me, do you miss your big fancy house from the city? And I think, well, I do miss how pretty it was, but it just wasn't functional. It just didn't work for us. I love how functional this is. We're not going to stay here. We're going to build a house that I'm going to design. But for right now, it's very well suits our needs. It is.
You know what? And you do
excellent.
Make this house feel very like a home. Like this, every little corner is full. I mean, just the wall behind you is an example of all the little touches that autumn brings to a house.
Thank you. I appreciate that because when we first moved in, we will show you videos, guys. It was Colby just dragging all these pieces to put together this house, and it was fully furnished. So there were just furniture everywhere and insulation everywhere, and it was a mess. It looked like a construction zone. And Colby said, well, do you think you can turn this house into a home? And I thought, I don't know. That's a big job. We'll see. But I've tried really hard to make it homey, and we've got a homeschool room and a workout room and a craft room, and yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And our kitchen and our dining room finally fit us. Our kitchen and our big house in the city did not fit us, and it does here. So.
Ready, go! Happy birthday
tree up on the hill, and days go by on your windowsill.
When the man camps first got moved out here, they weren't assembled. They were in pieces. They weren't connected.
Without any instructions.
Yeah, no instructions, no power, no water hooked up to them. Colby had to do all of that. But we spent our first Easter here, and we went around and put Easter eggs and candy all over for the kids to do an Easter egg hunt. And the first few days that we spent the night here, did we have power yet?
I had a generator. We had limited power.
We had limited power, so we all slept out in the living room. This room was the living room at the time, and we had hot dogs and like just stuff we could eat in a microwave because we couldn't cook anywhere yet. So it was kind of like camping for a few days, and then we finally got water and power and everything hooked up.
It was a tremendous amount of work. And I don't recall all the trials we were going through at the time, but Autumn looked at me and she said, "Don't you have a breaking point?" You remember that?
I do.
And I said, "I'd love to have a breaking point, but that's not an option."
But it was an adventure, right?
It was awesome.
It's better now.
It is.
I'm not the best at roasting.
The oil-filled man camps are a portable building. A lot of people look at it and think it was a double-wide trailer, but there are no axles, and they have special rigging trucks designed to haul them. And we have 7 units that comprise our home, and each one, the lightest one, when we brought them in, the lightest one was 54,000 pounds. We didn't even know where the home was going to sit when these man camps arrived. And so we got them offloaded, and they're scattered various places across the property. And one of the companies I own is a roll-off dumpster company. And each of the roll-off trucks has a hoist that'll lift 60,000 pounds. Okay? And so we backed the truck to either end of we brought 2 trucks down, backed the truck to either end of the man camp after we prepared a pad for the man camps with concrete footings and whatnot. And then I had one truck drive forward and one truck drive backwards, and we just raised them with those winches off the ground about 6 inches. And that's how we lined up our home to put it in place. And when I started moving it, to the time I had it ready to move into, I worked 72 hours straight without a break. I mean, when I started going together, I didn't know the order they went together in. I had no instructions. I didn't know how the water lines worked. I didn't know where the power connected one unit to another. And that's back to that definition of beating square pegs in round holes.
Oh gosh, working 72 hours. You slept though, yeah?
No.
No sleeping? No. Ah!
For 72 hours. I mean, I didn't have a choice. We need. Well, let me back that up just a minute. The reason it was so rushed at that time was we put that home on the market, and it was in a nice part of town. It sold in 3 days for a lot more than I was asking, and we had to get out right now to get the offer.
Gotcha.
So sometimes life dictates what you do.
Okay. Well, it makes for a good story later. Sheesh.
I bought this semi that had been rolled, tipped on its side. And before it can be recycled, we've got to get the hay out of it. So it has 22 tons of hay in it. So little John Deere tractor over there won't climb up in the trailer. So I dug a hole, backed the trailer in it. And these are 1-ton bales, and we're gonna try to unload that hay today. Had to dig a hole down there, about 4 feet deep, about 30 feet long, tapered. Didn't measure it. I was just guessing for the width and the depth and where the landing gear would go. And if you can look right there, landing gear just barely made contact with the ground as it backed in. So that was a lucky guess. Well, we got about 60% of the trailer unloaded. We're having problems with the dirt caving in, tractor getting stuck here. putting an undue load on the front end, and so we broke the tractor. So we got a hub that's cracked, and we got a broken wheel. So we'll have to do a little bit of a repair on that. Not only that, we broke the muffler off. So there's a muffler laying over there. So we'll have to come back to this later. So yeah, that's I mean, we're making headway. This little tractor's doing okay with these ton bells. I mean, if you look how big that bell is compared to Colin, and compared to that tractor, the plow on the back is what makes that doable, but it didn't like it very much. So living off-grid with a family our side, it's work. I mean, there's no day that doesn't have 25 projects that either are intended or unintended. You know, whether we have the well break, the water lines break, or the power supply have issues. But it's something I'm anxious and willing to do, to give my kids the opportunity to, you know, how many kids in this world have an opportunity to go get on a horse whenever they want? And B, I want my kids to have an opportunity to learn what hard work is, but also see the results of hard work, and to find out that hard work can actually be fun. And so, you know, whether or not it's, you know, paving or grading the road, or saddling a horse, or fixing fence, or working on a vehicle, or teaching my daughters how to change tires or check oil in cars, you know, that's something we can do together. This is what you call a backhoe full of kids. Everybody say hi.